Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to the General Lecture Series presented by the Kerala Museum with the support of the Geojit Foundation. The series builds on the founder R. Madhavan Nair's vision to make history accessible to all. It excavates the tapestry of Kerala's past, providing a nuanced understanding of its evolution and the interconnectedness between its cultural heritage, social dynamics, political developments, and environmental transformations. Today's lecture, Therapeutics to Cosmetics, attempts to preserve a knowledge tradition, scrutinizes some of the endeavors by Ayurvedic practitioners to survive as well as to preserve their family medical legacy by manufacturing products other than Ayurvedic medicines. The historical conditions that force indigenous medical practitioners to move into the production and selling of a cosmetic product, and the kinds of claims that practitioners have to make to market their products are some of the concerns that this lecture intends to address. I'd like to introduce the speaker for today, Dr. K.P. Girija, who is the consultant and coordinator of Narayana Guru Digital Research Resource Platform, a project envisaged by the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and Sree Narayana Guru College of Commerce, Mumbai. She is the author of the book, Mapping the History of Ayurveda, Culture, Hegemony, and the Rhetoric of Diversity, published by Routledge, India in 2022. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Come, I'd like to invite you to the stage to take the mic.
I'm honored to be part of this general lecture series. I'm sure that this digital archives on general talk series would be a rich repertoire on South Indian and South Asian studies. My personal thanks to Aditi Sakaria, the director of Kerala Museum, Rajeshwari, the researcher in Kerala Museum, and Tina Anthony, my friend from my alma mater. And I also like to extend my thanks to the staff who works at various levels to conduct this general talk series. Now I will directly go to my talk. Before that, let me tell you, in my talk, I would focus on the social history of two small objects, which you all may be familiar with. They are two soaps. One is Medimix soaps and the other one is Chandrika soap. While speaking about the social history of these two objects, I also speak about the people who are behind these products, the two Ayurveda/Siddha practitioners who transform their Ayurvedic tradition of therapeutics or treatments of Ayurveda and Ayurvedic practice, Ayurveda/Siddha practice into a cosmetic product for their survival as well as their survival of their traditional knowledge. Yeah, let us, I'll go from 1960, I will move backward to 1940s, and I'll also place these two objects and the practitioners behind these objects in the socio-historical context of certain other things that happened during these periods. Medimix was produced by a person called V.P. Siddhan. He was an allopathic doctor, but from an Ayurvedic family, from the family of an Ayurvedic practitioner or a series of Ayurvedic practitioners. So he was working in Chennai in the Central Railway as an allopathy doctor. So he was the great grandson of Brahmasri Cholayil Kunyumami Vaidyan. Brahmasri Cholayil Kunjumami Vaidyan was a contemporary of P.S. Vaidhyar of Corporeal Ayurvedashala. P.S. Vaidhyar was very famous as the founder of Corporeal Ayurvedashala, as well as the person who works a lot or who took the initiative to modernize Ayurveda, especially Ayurveda in Kerala. We have enough writings on P.S. Vaidhyar, but we find in the history of Ayurveda or in the socio-political history of Ayurveda, we find very little about Brahmasri Cholayil Kunjumami Vaidyan. This V.P. Siddhan was the great grandson of Brahmasri Cholayil Kunjumami Vaidyan. While launching Medimix, they have claimed various things. They said that they use a secret family formula, which is Vipradi oil, that was the main Ayurvedic ingredient in Medimix soap. So what makes Siddhan to make this soap? Before that, these kinds of secret family formulas were part of various Ayurvedic traditions in Kerala. One of them is known as Ottamuli, which can be translated in two ways, or which can be defined in two ways. One is a single formula for particular diseases like piles, jaundice, etc., or a combination of formulas used by one particular family for one particular disease. These are secret family formulas which the practitioners or the families are generally reluctant to share with other practitioners or other traditions of this Ayurvedic practice. So Siddhan said this is their family formula. Viprati oil is their family formula. So what makes Siddhan to produce this soap? Siddhan was as I have already told, Siddhan was a allopathy practitioner. He worked in the Central Railway in Chennai. So the conservancy workers who used to clean the human waste from the railway track, they don't have proper equipments or proper measures to do their work while removing this human waste. So they had various kinds of diseases. One of them was skin disease. So they approached Siddhan, who was a doctor in the Central Railway. They approached him, and he has given them this particular oil and the oil mixed medicines, which was very effective for these workers. But they found it, when they moved from one track to another, they found it difficult to carry this particular oil or the paste that mixed with this oil along with them. So someone suggested Siddhan to make some product which is easy to carry by these workers. So Siddhan thought of making a soap. This is in 1960s. So Siddhan thought of making a soap, and Siddhan and his wife, from his home, using minimum facilities, they started making this soap, and they started distributing it to the workers and other people. Initially, the soap was distributed through the prescription from Ayurveda as well as allopathic practitioners. Siddhan used to sell these soaps, not sell. Siddhan used to distribute these soaps through a pharmacy called Parvati Pharmaceuticals in Chennai. So they were the main distributors of these soaps initially. Later, within 15 years, Medimix was a well-known brand. All of you know that. Some of us uses it even now. And by 2023, they had developed 4 variants of soaps, 3 variants of body wash, 5 variants in the facial cleansing range. They have hygiene wash, Lakshadi gel, which is meant for nourishing and moisturizing, and they have nourishing shampoo and powder. They also bought Cuticura in 2021. Cuticura was well known from 1865 onwards, and it was developed by Porter Drug and Chemical Company, and Cuticura was known for its skin care properties. So it was a mild antibacterial medicated soap and powder which uses a chemical, and Cuticura claims it was a skin care expert since 1865. So they also have this tagline called the fragrant British legacy customized for your skin needs. In March 2021, Medimix is also Medimix is run by Cholail Group. Cholail is the family name of Brahmasri Cholail Kunyumami Vaidyan. So the Cholail Group acquired Cuticura from Muller and Phillips. By that time, the company has changed from Porter Drug and Chemical Company to Muller and Phillips Company. But they did not change the brand name Cuticura into any kind of Ayurvedic name. Instead they produced a range of products under the brand name, but they use the same tagline, which is the fragrant British legacy customized for your skin needs. They produce talcum powder, bathing bars, deodorants, etc. But they didn't claim that they are Ayurvedic products. They didn't directly claim that they are Ayurvedic products. But they claim that these are ingredients from Mother Nature, and these are equipped with healing properties. These Cuticura products are equipped with healing properties. So there is a transition of Cuticura. Once Medimix bought this Cuticura, there is a transition from a chemical product to a Mother Nature product. They used herbs and extracted oils from plants such as olive, primrose, almond, saffron, etc. In 2005, Godrej attempted to buy Cuticura because Godrej didn't have the right to sell certain products in India. When Godrej wanted to buy Cuticura, the turnover of that product was almost 10 crores. So, because of that also, Cholail family didn't want to forego their Mother Nature product, Cuticura. Now, I will move to Chandrika's soap, but in between I have to say a few things. Regarding the transition that happened during this period. In the 19th century, schools and textbooks were sites through which the government intervened in the area of health and hygiene. In other words, the formalization and legitimization of these new concepts, hygiene and health, or Shujitvam and Arogyam, these concepts were shared through places like schools, craft learning centers, and they have implemented the ideas or implanted the ideas through corporeal practices. The students were taught about the importance of hygiene, an idea that permeated the discursive field of public health and missionary activities in the context of and alongside the fear of contagious diseases. Literature also had references to hygiene and cleanliness. From magazines to novels, they have mentioned about hygiene and cleanliness. The lesson on hygiene was not equivalent to the existing indigenous notion of health and cleanliness or vritti. In indigenous term, it is vritti. Applying a variety of oils on the body, chewing pan or vetila murkal, and spitting out the juice were considered bad habits and were scrutinized. The smell of the oil was described as fetid, disgusting, and nauseating. This is mentioned in a book called The European in India, written by Hull. formal classes were meant to imbibe the students with the colonial idea of hygiene and cleanliness. Cleanliness was projected as the solution to remove pollution. In other words, cleanliness was equated with the purity of the body. However, the European ideas of cleanliness, order, and dirt were culturally constructed. This was said by Harminder Kaur, the last one. The European ideas of cleanliness, order, and dirt were culturally constructed. This was the context where this was a period of a transition in which C.R. Kesavan Vaidhyar intervened and he started producing Chandrika soap. This is in 1940s. Kesavan Vaidhyar was not the only person who has manufactured a soap. At that time, there were a lot of soaps produced by Godrej, Pears, some local Ayurvedic practitioners, etc. Before this period, toilet soap was a luxury to be used only by the affluent families. Only laundry soaps were available for the common people to use as use for washing as well as use for bathing. When Kesavan Vaidhyar was producing Chandrika soap, the society was in a transition. The caste-ridden society was in a transition to a more complex hierarchical society. It was happened through the intervention of, not only through the intervention of protests, but it was also happened through the intervention of colonialism, through the intervention of technology, capital, education, and the changes that happened in the land use pattern. So different ideas of freedom were percolated at that time. There was this movement against colonialism. There was this idea of freedom from untouchability, and there was this idea of freedom from inequality. There was an idea of an equal society. So the purity and pollution discourse based on the bodily practices or the corporeal practices was slowly changing into a medical and secularized discourse on hygiene, health, and cleanliness. Gradually, the prevalent notions of purity and the pollution discourses were superimposed by modern ideas of hygiene and cleanliness. The older ideas were not completely eliminated, but absorbed into the new notions. As and when required, they emerged along with the new ideas, carrying the baggage of traditional taboos of caste and the modern concept of hygiene. Because certain communities and classes of people were seen as, in quote and unquote, inherently unclean. The close connection between their occupation and socio-economic status with lack of cleanliness or less cleanliness was obscured in this new discourse. Cleanliness was viewed as something acquired through the use of consumer products like soaps and scents. The socio-cultural context under which people did not have the luxury of being clean had been circumvented through this novel discourse on consumer products like soaps and scents, and through public health debates like hygiene and cleanliness. During the same period in Europe, they have started changing from intense scents and perfumes to mild scents and perfumes. So the ritualistic purity and pollution debate, or the Shuddham debate. The ritualistic purity and pollution debate was the Shuddham discourse. The Shuddham discourse was gradually transformed into a Shujitvam discourse, which means the hygiene and cleanliness or health of the people based on hygiene and cleanliness. This was accelerated by the invention of medicine and science. So a corporeal practice was gradually transformed into a secular and medical term called cleanliness, health, and hygiene, or Shujitva. This argument was not proposed by me. This argument was proposed by Grishma Justice John in her paper on the soaps, the history of soap in Kerala. She worked on the Kerala soap industries of Kerala. So I would like to extend this argument by saying that the social reformers also asserted or also advised people to become more clean and healthy. Narayana Guru was one of the reformer who asked the people to stop doing various kinds of jobs like toddy tapping and many rituals which are seen as not proper. So he also asked people to be clean and neat within their own circumstances, or whatever availability of resources are there. Within that limit of resources, he asked the people to be clean and healthy. So this formalization and legitimization of these new concepts, from Shujitvam to Shuddham, or from corporeal practices of purity and pollution to the scientific and secular practices of health, hygiene and cleanliness, it was formalized and legitimized through various places, through schools, through textbooks, government textbooks, through craft centers, and through other kinds of body practices, or in other words, other kinds of rituals performed through bodily practices. So when Keshavan Vaidyan produced his soap in 1940s, according to Harminder Kaur, the soap production in India was not happened in a void space. It happened in the historically and culturally produced discourse on these kinds of things, like from bodily pollution and purity to cleanliness. The entry of toilet soap has to be seen within the discourse on health, hygiene, order, dirt, contagious diseases and cleanliness. In the market, when Keshavan Vaidyan produces soap, I have already told that Godrej, Pierce, Leslie, Tata, Unilever, etc. were in the market. And prior to this period, soaps were, the toilet soaps were importing from abroad. Prafulla Chandra Ray from Bengal, who was the author of the history of Hindu chemistry, he started producing glycerin soap, which actually compete with the glycerin soap of Pierce. In 1899, he started the Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceutical Works, and he started producing soaps by using indigenous perfumes and ingredients. He used Western technology and indigenous ingredients. In 1916, the Madras and Mysore governments also started producing soap through soap factories. In 1940, the Madras government started the Kerala Soap Institute. So, C.R. Keshavan Vaidyan, prior to produce this Chandrika soap, he was a disciple of Sree Narayana Guru. He was very active in Sree Narayana Dharma Paripalana Sangam. He was the treasurer of SNDP for years, and he was also a disciple of Ramananda Swamigal, who was a disciple of Narayana Guru. Narayana Guru was also an Ayurvedic he didn't practice Ayurveda, but he learned Ayurveda, and when people came to him asking for some medicine, he used to give them medicine, or also he used to give them advice in certain times rather than prescribing them medicine. He never known as a physician. He didn't use Ayurveda as a practice in his life. He was doing a lot of other kinds of things. He was also a philosopher. So, Ramananda Swamigal was a disciple of Narayana Guru, and Ramananda Swamigal was a Siddha practitioner, Siddha Vaidyam practitioner. So Keshavan Vaidyan learned Siddha Vaidyam from Ramananda Swamigal. And Swamigal used a medicated paste for the treatment of skin disease. Swamigal used Marotica oil, which is known for its its therapeutic property for the treatment of leprosy. So Ramananda Swamigal used this Marotica oil in producing soap. So he allowed Kesavan Vaidyan to use the same preparation and produce a new soap. Ramananda Swamigal also produced a soap which is known as Shashindra soap. So the Chandrika soap and Shashindra soap were in the market at the same time. Both the soaps were good for this, or they claim that this is good for scabs, freckles, psychosis and acne. The meaning of Chandrika is the full light of the moon. Shashindra also has the meaning similar to this, not the light of full moon, but Shashindra is also known as moon. Even though the advertisement of Shashindra and Chandrika came simultaneously, in practice, these two practitioners didn't compete with each other to sell their soap. In fact, Kesavan was a visionary with much efficiency in his entrepreneurship, and he used a variety of methods to sell his soap. He advertised in 1940, this is a new method in intervening the field of advertisement. So Kesavan used advertisements in the theatres, in the film theatres, which was evolving in different parts of Kerala and India. And he took letters and certificates from dignitaries, and he had a publication. He was the publisher of Vivekodaya magazine, which was the mouthpiece of Sree Narayana Dharma Paribalana Sangham, SNDP. So Kesavan was the publisher and the funder for this magazine, and this magazine was there in Kerala for quite some time, more than 30 years this magazine was there. Earlier in 1920s, this magazine was run by the famous poet Kumaranashan. Then after some 15 years, the magazine got stopped, and Kesavan revived this magazine in 1960s. So he published these advertisements of Chandrika soap on the last cover page of this magazine. We can see almost all the magazine with the advertisement of Chandrika. He took poems from famous writers like Vallathol Narayana Menon has written a poem on Chandrika soap, and famous lawyers, advocates, doctors all gave him the certificates. There was an interesting story on this. One Dr. B. Simon, who was a doctor in the women's hospital at Mattanjeri, she gave a certificate to Kesavan saying that Chandrika soap was very good for skin disease. Later, she wrote a letter to Kesavan. I have seen that letter. I thought initially I will show the letter in my PPT. Then I thought it is not ethical to show the letter. So she wrote, after some months, she wrote a letter to Kesavan asking him to return her letter of appreciation of Chandrika soap, because the medical council objected writing these kind of certificates to a soap which uses Ayurvedic ingredients and claims that this is a remedy for skin diseases. Kesavan advertised his the letters and the acknowledgements. Even Prem Nasir wrote an acknowledgement to Kesavan. I have seen that thing. So Kesavan published these letters and appreciation in not only in Malayalam newspapers, he published it in Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and even English newspapers. He also used a variety of other methods, like in the boat race. He produced attractive calendars and advertisements, calendars with Chandrika's advertisement. In the boat race, Kesavan uses one boat with the huge advertisement of Chandrika soap. In Thrissur Puram festival, Kesavan used one elephant pageant with Chandrika soap. And he even sent soaps to newspapers for reviews. At that time, soaps were not sent to newspapers for reviews. Only books were sent for reviews. So Kesavan sent his soap for reviews. He took the soaps in a big metal box. He carried it on his head and he walked long paths to sell his soaps. And he also traveled in a bus by standing on the ladder of the bus, because the bus was full with people, so he couldn't enter into the bus. He didn't get a seat, so he traveled by catching the ladder and standing on the ladder when he went from Mavelikara to Trivandrum to attend an industrial exhibition, to sell his soap and to exhibit his soap. He published the book, the review of the soap, not the book review. The review of the soap was appeared in older newspapers like Gomadi, Kerala Kaumudi, Snehidan, etc. Then he took endorsement from dignitaries like Mullur, Advocate Mullur, George Alapat, Bishop of Thrissur, Mallur K. Govindan Pillai, retired Law College Principal and Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, Mannathu Padmanabhan, a renowned community reformer, Vallathol Narayana Menon. So Kesavan did a lot of work to publicize his soap. It was also a remedy for skin diseases, as I have already told. And initially, like Medimix in 1960s, in 1940s, Chandrika was also sold through pharmacies and through the prescription of doctors from both the fields, Ayurveda and allopathic fields. Later, Chandrika was a free-floating product for skin disease, and it was also a toilet soap. It was also secretly known as Irava soap, and some of the upper caste refrained from using this in quote and unquote Irava soap. But Kesavan took a very interesting turn in developing this discourse of Irava or lower caste soap into a secular product. Kesavan claimed that this is the only original vegetable soap that was produced since 1940s. So it was also an interesting turn in the production of Chandrika soap. People who didn't use animal fat-based soap were interested to buy Chandrika soap because it was a vegetable soap. At a time, it was an Irava soap. At a time, it claimed that it is a soap that uses only vegetable oil. So Kesavan uses different strategies to overcome this taboo built upon this caste narratives. Now the company produces a range of soaps and shampoos, but not as much as that of Medimix. Godrej also had right to produce soaps, 4 kinds of soaps with the name Chandrika. They also use the same ingredients, but they are producing it separately and they sell their soaps in SAARC countries. Whereas Chandrika soap, the Lal company which sells Chandrika soap, they have the right to sell the soaps in countries other than the SAARC countries. So I'll try to conclude my talk by pointing out some similarities and of course some differences. That Kesavan was initially Kesavan was not a practitioner. Kesavan was an SNDP worker, and His mother was a Vishavaidya practitioner, toxicology practitioner, but Kesavan didn't learn from his mother. Later, he did various jobs, including a teacher's job. He was a teacher for many years. Then he became the treasurer of SNDP movement. Then Kesavan tried various things and he didn't succeed in many things. Then finally, he went to Ramananda Swamigal and learned Siddhavaidyam. He started practicing Siddhavaidyam. He started producing a range of products with the name Chandrika, Chandrika Savam, Chandrika Balanidhi, various things. Balanidhi meant for children, Chandrika soap. After a period, he stopped producing all other products and he just focused on producing Chandrika soap. Both the practitioners, V.P. Siddhan and Kesavan, are from the Irava community. And usually in Kerala, even now, it is sorry to say that even now we tend to buy products which are produced and sold by families who are well known for their, not only for their Ayurvedic or Siddha practice legacy, but also for their caste legacy. We think that they sell authentic and unadulterated product, and we have a belief that they sell very, very pure, very good products. So in such a context, it was difficult for these Irava practitioners to survive through their Ayurvedic practice. Siddhan also knows Ayurveda, even though he did not practice Ayurveda. So it was difficult for them to survive through their practice, but they were good entrepreneurs. Sree Narayana Guru was also a promoter of entrepreneurship among lower castes, not only among Iravas, among all kinds of lower castes. So the social context which supports entrepreneurship of lower caste practitioners or lower caste people, Kesavan and Siddhan utilized, Siddhan in a later period, Kesavan in the 1940s, they used these contexts to develop their therapeutic culture into a cosmetic culture. I don't want to say cosmetic culture, in producing cosmetic products and make their tradition survive in a different way. So I'll conclude here, and both of, as I have already told, they have protected their tradition in a different way by producing cosmetic products. Now in the market, a large number of companies that claims that they are Ayurveda companies or Siddha companies, and they produce a range of products. Kama Ayurvedics is there, Biotics is there. Biotic has advertised their products as this is not a cosmetic product, it has therapeutic properties. So a range of companies are there in the market, and they produce a wide range of products which claim that they are Ayurvedic or Siddha products. Even Unani products are there. But these two practitioners set the stage to preserve their tradition in a novel way, and their products are still in the market and they have huge demands.
Thank you, Girija ma'am. I think it was very exciting hearing about the entrepreneurial escapades of these two soap sellers. If anyone has any questions, you can ask now. Some of you came in only the last 5 minutes, but still you know these two brands well. If you have any questions, we can even go back over some of the slides if you wish. Ask me, tell me, and I'll pass the mic.
Ma'am, you told about the Shuddham, that is purity, changed into cleanliness, that is Shujitvam. That was a really interesting concept. So how did this only apply to a caste perspective or caste impact, or does this have anything to do with women who were treated as polluted people while they are in their periods? So does this have any impact on women who are considered as impure during the period's time?
Purity and pollution has different layers of different layers. It is not only applied to lower castes or in other words, the subaltern people. Women has when it is in the case of women, there is another layer of purity and pollution within the household and outside the household also. But specifically, this has nothing to do with this discourse has nothing to do with women in particular. The discourse has changed with the intervention of a lot of other kinds of discourses and other kinds of interventions. As I have already told, that science has its role in this change of discourse. Medicine has its role. Capital investment in different areas. The capital investment in different areas, especially in the area of science and medicine, has another role. And apart from that, colonialism also played its role in changing this discourse from purity and pollution to hygiene and cleanliness. So specifically, I don't know whether women has anything to do with discourse, but they also has suffered due to this purity and pollution practices, the embodied practices within the household. That is what I wanted to say.
Hello. Hi, ma'am. Actually, we came in late and missed a major portion of it. But just wanted to know from you, like these products, like which were introduced long back. How about the quality of these products now? Is there any info on that? Like, has it kind of deteriorated, or are they following the same practices which the founders introduced? Any info on those?
One thing is that initially Medimix claimed that they have used 16 Ayurvedic ingredients to produce their Medimix soap. Now they are claiming that they have used 25 Ayurvedic ingredients in producing not only Medimix soap, the body wash, Medimix, different kinds of body wash. I can't say anything about the quality of these products, but they are selling in different parts of the world, not only in India or in Kerala. They are selling in different parts of the world. Now they are also focusing on the youngsters. I'll read the quotation of Medimix. They are saying that over time, Medimix has grown synonymous with skin care, the natural way, and for generations, women, indeed entire families, have placed their trust on the Medimix range of products. Currently available in 4 variants of soaps, 3 variants of body wash, 5 variants in the facial cleansing range, and a few other products. Medimix is expanding its range and bringing natural skincare to more people across the world, especially to youth. That is what their advertisement says. In the case of Chandrika soap, they didn't scale up their products. They are still producing some 4 or 5 variety. Glycerin Chandrika soap is there. Then Siddha Chandrika soap is there. 4 or 5 varieties of Chandrika soap. Apart from some body wash, they don't scale up their products. But specifically about the quality of the products, I am not competent enough to say about the quality of the products. But people are still using it, not as a product for skin diseases, but as a product for skin care.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one. I think If you can explain more about how a cosmetic product is different from an Ayurvedic product, at least in the way you've explained it, it might answer that, if you can do that.
The line is very thin, actually. The line between a cosmetic product and an Ayurvedic product was very less. Kungumadi labam or Kungumadi gel is used as a cosmetic product and as well as a medicine. So the line was very thin. But now, after 1970s, the differentiation between cosmetic products and Ayurvedic products are more visible because we are obsessed with this taxonomy of differentiating things into different realms. So this, our obsession with taxonomy, like this is cosmetic and this is not therapeutic, that is also a reason. Then the classification of products as separately as cosmetic soaps and therapeutic products is also caused this changes. But I would say the differentiation is very thin in the case of Ayurvedic products as well as Siddha Vaidya products. They don't sell, when it is a medicine or when it is a paste or when it is an oil, they don't say that this is a cosmetic. This is for skin disease, they say. But when it become a product like soap or ointment, they say that this is a cosmetic product.
Ma'am, the Siddha tradition or the Ayurvedic tradition would have certain rules on how the ingredients are to be procured, certain times of the day when the plant has to be harvested, etc. When they do this for for mass manufacture as they do right now, how do they ensure that we are still following the same traditional way of gathering or traditional way of ensuring the same quality?
Traditional way means many things. This kind of ensuring the collection of herbs or medicines in particular times or on particular days, that has changed across the practice. It is not only meant for cosmetic products. Even in practice, they can't do like that. If Kottakkal Ayurvedashala is producing herbs in bulks in their herbarium, Shantigiri Ashram is producing this in their herbarium. But the conditions are changed. They are not collecting many herbs from the forest. It is not available in the forest. They even buy it from other states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra, sometimes even from North India, they buy products. So the historical condition has completely changed. This is not only specific to cosmetic vis-a-vis therapeutic products. This is equally applicable to practices and the medicinal products. But they try to keep the quality of these herbs as much as good as they can. That is all they can assure it. Sometimes one particular herb which is used in the herbal oil is not at all available. So they use an alternative herb for that thing.
Any more? Sir? No? You look like there's a question coming. If we are done, yeah? Please. Please share.
About quality, the quality has been good all along. I've been using it for years together. But there is an interesting thing about what you mentioned about this shift from the therapeutic to the cosmetic. During my childhood days, Chandrika soap was used as a therapeutic, specifically. So if you had some skin disease or something, then they would get Chandrika soap, and they had a brochure which said that you have to apply the soap and wait for 10 minutes and then wash off and all that. So it was a very medical procedure, actually.
Was it in 1960s, 70s?
Exactly, 60s.
It was prescribed by doctors.
Yeah.
It was not sold over to the counter.
No. And then later the changes have come, as you said, but I believe Chandrika has now been taken over by Wipro.
Wipro has certain rights. It is not taken over by Wipro.
No, sir.
Wipro has certain right to produce 4 kinds of Chandrika soaps with different colors. The cover is in a different color, light green, not
sir.
the Chandrika soap color of green. And they have the right to sell the soaps in the SAARC countries.
I think you mentioned Godrej, that's what I was a bit confused.
Pardon?
I think you mentioned Godrej as
Yeah. Godrej tried to buy Cuticura, not Chandrika.
Thank you.
I think today's audience, 50% have used these 3 products and 50% have not even seen these products on the shelves. So it's quite interesting that we had this discussion today. Thank you, Girija ma'am, for this very enlightening lecture. And to see the entrepreneurial capacities of these people, that's really interesting. Even to know that as recently as 2005, Godrej was looking at buying Cuticura, and there was, at such a value. So we've gone from Ayurveda to the economic production of these items. Is very exciting and interesting for us. Today there are so many new brands on the market, but all with this legacy that you're talking about, which makes the discussion very contemporary. So I'd like to thank you for your generosity, for your time, and a small token of appreciation from us. This is a book. We hope you enjoy it.